This dish we're going to do now is called General Tso's chicken. This is a really healthy way of doing a classic takeaway dish. To make the marinade for this dish, firstly you need a little bowl just to mix the ingredients in. First thing we do, tablespoon of soy sauce. So in that goes. Don't mind if it's slightly over. These are just roundabouts. I quite like soy sauce, so I tend to put a little bit more in. A little
bit of rice wine.
Again, tablespoon of that. And then finally, just to add a little bit of sweetness, I'm going to put a teaspoon of caster sugar. Okay, once that's in, it is all in the bowl. Okay, what you're going to do is just mix that round ever so gently, just so you try not to spill it everywhere like that. Stir it around and just tap on it every now and again, and if you can still feel sort of bits of sugar, like when you're stirring sugar into tea, if you can still feel the bits of sugar at the bottom, the flavour of it's not going to come through. So just gently turn it round until that's all smooth and gone in. Okay, excellent. Very simple, that's the marinade. Okay, once you've made your marinade, next thing to do is to get your chicken. You want about 500 grams of chicken, and you want to cut it into sort of 2 centimetre size chunks, cubes. Looks a lot of chicken. It'll feed about 4 people. By itself, the chicken, £4 from Tesco's, although it is part of the 3 for a tenner deal that they do. So if you're planning your meals, you can get this as part of it, and it just knocks the cost down. So put that into a larger mixing bowl. Once that's in there, all you're going to do, just going to pour the marinade in. Scrape it all in, get all those little bits. Okay. Once that's done, mix it around. Going to be stirring it. Don't be afraid to get your hands in. If you've been anywhere near raw chicken, you need to be washing your hands anyway, so you might as well keep onto it. Get it nice and spread all around so that you get all of the chicken, there's no pink bits, it's all nicely covered in the marinade. Next step, so you need to get a freezer bag, quite a large one to get all the meat in it. And you're going to take some flour, ideally corn flour, but any old flour, plain flour will do just as well. Try not to use self-raising. I'm going to go for 2 heaped tablespoons. Get that in there. 1, 2. Give a little bit of a mix around. And then what you're going to do, very simple, going to tip all the chicken in. Shake any of the extra bits of the marinade into it. Okay, then and seal your freezer bag, and do make sure it's shut, otherwise it will go everywhere. Okay, and move it around, give it a bit of a shake. I'm trying to get all the flour and all the marinated chicken, just to get it mixed together, just to give it all a little bit of a cover. As you look at the bag, if you see there's any big clumps building up of the flour, get your fingers in, work it, try. I've got long nails, be careful not to go through it, you're not going to get stuff everywhere, but just give it a good old mix around. Keep turning it around, get a good shape. And what you should end up with is, without seeing big clumps of flour everywhere, you should end up seeing just little bits of flour in and amongst it, but generally it's keeping that ever so slightly lighter, but that brown shade all the way throughout. Once you've done this, nice and easy, put that in the fridge for at least half an hour. Ideal if you've got a little bit of time at lunchtime and you want to prepare it, stick it in the fridge, come back after lectures, and then finish it off. The cooking itself later will only take about 10-15 minutes, so it's a nice, easy and straightforward dish. But a little bit of preparation, and stick it in the fridge and forget about it. Okay, to make the sauce for this, first you get a bowl. Into that you're going to put 150 ml of chicken stock. I've got a bag of actual chicken stock. You can do it with the cubes, things like that. 150 ml. If you've got a measuring jug, fantastic. Not every student kitchen has, but what every student kitchen almost certainly will have is a shot glass. Shot glass will hold about 50 ml of liquid. So in that goes 1, 2, 3, 150 ml. You need 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. In that goes 1, 2. A tablespoon of tomato puree. Again, if you've not got tomato puree, perfectly acceptable substitute. Give it a shake. In that goes. Then you're going to want to add a tablespoon of hoisin sauce. I'm going to use the teaspoon to get in there, but it's about 2 big heaped teaspoons. I'm a big fan of hoisin, so I'm going to put a tiny little bit more in. Excellent. Then you're going to need another teaspoon of caster sugar. And that goes. And finally, some crushed chili flakes. Now, all subject to taste. Some people will like it spicier than others. Rule of thumb is, if you're not good with spice, about half a teaspoon like that should be alright for children. They can just notice it without it blowing their heads off. If you like it stronger, put more in. Simple as that. Once you've done that, clear all your spoons. Make sure they're all, you're getting all the ingredients in there. And finally, you want to whisk it together. Now, I use a fork generally to whisk things. So you've got a lot of thick ingredients in there like that. It needs to all be stirred around. Now you've got to do it gently. You try not to spill it everywhere. Soy sauce is a real pain if it gets into your clothes. You need to get them in the wash straight away. So try not to get it all over you. And stir it around. Same as when we're making the marinade. Tap on the bottom. If you can feel that there's some of the sugar that you've put in is stuck to the bottom, keep on stirring it. And then eventually, keep going. You should pull it so it's all very liquid. There's no big solid bits of the sauces that you put in. If you do find some more, just give it another whiz around. And that's simply how you make the sauce. Once you've done that, just cover it and set it aside. If you've got time when you're making the marinade and putting it on the chicken, do it at the same time, cover it and put it in the fridge. It takes 2 minutes, you can make it just before you're about to cook. Once your chicken's been marinating in the fridge for at least half an hour, it's time to get things cooking. So the first thing we do is get a wok on the heat. Now we need 100 ml of oil. Remember the trick we used earlier, large shot glass, holds about 50 ml. So 1 of them, 2 of them, that's 100 ml. Get that heating up. Okay, while that's heating up, if you've got a kitchen thermometer, 180 degrees C, I haven't got one, and most people realistically aren't going to have them. So the little test is when you drop something in, it starts sizzling immediately. As we've got the chicken, it's come out the fridge. You can see it's got a nice, even, consistent colour throughout. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding it in small batches, taking it out with a salted spoon, just one of these ones, putting it on a cloth or a kitchen roll if you've got that, just to let it drain, and put that in a pan. And then we'll re-add it in later. This is just to get that nice finish. A little bit. Yeah. Okay, we're ready to go. So, now it's nice and hot. We're going to get a little bit at a time. Just Gently spoon it in. And what we're going to do is we're going to be cooking this for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Okay, you can see it's starting to get a nice sort of golden finish. Just when you start to see, you get a bit out. It's like this, where it's starting to get the golden bits and the crispy bits coming around it. It's starting to get where it needs to be. This is about ready. And you can see how that looks nice and crispy and golden. Take it on your slotted spoon, give it a nice bit of drain, and then straight onto your kitchen roll or your cloth, whatever you're using to drain your stuff off with. Repeat this process until the entire bag is empty. Okay. The last few bits are just about finishing up. When you've finished with the oil in the pan, don't tip it down the sink. It will just cause blockages and end up causing a problem. Get a cup, something like that. The ends are hot. Straight into a cup, allow that to cool down and then it goes in. Not taking that off the heat, what we need to do now is add another little bit more oil into the pan. Not too much. Get that coming up to temperature. Once that gets up to full whack, we're going to add the ginger and the garlic. Now it's finely sliced, so we're looking, this is the garlic. And if you can see, just into a very small little bit. And we're going to get ginger and the garlic straight in there. These will only need a minute and keep moving it around. So the next thing we're going to do is the sauce that we made earlier. We'll set it aside in the fridge. And straight away, I'm going to whack that all in there. A nice hissing sound. Like anything that's had soy sauce in, just straight away fill it with water, give it a quick rinse. 3 seconds there will save you 10 minutes of scrubbing later. Once it starts to bubble, put the chicken back in. And that's going to be just a couple of minutes, just to get the sauce to thin out a little bit. Still want, doesn't want to be completely sticky. You still want a little, well, I prefer a little bit of sauce to go with it, just to go into the noodles. Okay, that's perfect now. Okay, what we've got here, nice and sticky the sauce is. Perfect. Get a spoon, not a slotted spoon this time, because we want to take some of this lovely sauce with us. And then we just get a nice little bit there. Dollop that into the middle, a little bit more. A little bit of sauce. And then if you want to, I quite like it, just a few little shreds of spring onion on top there.